Hi there, Samuel Larsen here. And now, since we're starting with the new decade, 2020, I wanted to ask myself, and from you as well, is zero still relevant? Because on the surface, it looks like it's actually getting less relevant. You have pretty good default themes, and they are working technically pretty good. Fast loading times. It seems like everything's sort of handled to you on a plate, and the default settings are getting better and better. So on a surface level, there's less to do, right? Now, I want to attack this question from a couple of perspectives. So first of all, let's look at the advertising, and then let's look at the competition. So first of all, advertising in this decade, it has already started, but it's moving more towards target ROAS bidding, target CPA bidding. So basically that is telling people, or Google, or Facebook, or any advertising platform you're on, is that I want customers for this price. This is what I'm willing to pay. And data is going to be something that more and more people have access to. So that's sort of like opened up. And you can start using Google's and Facebook algorithms to go and be smarter for yourself. So it will be increasingly difficult to differentiate from that point on. Because it's everybody's playing with the same rules, and you have less and less of an edge there. Now the second point here, especially when it comes to search, is Google Shopping is taking more and more real estate. So they have done it similar to other ads. So okay, Google is looking, we want more revenue. Our revenue goal is like higher and higher every year, and they're looking to monetize that search more and more, because other initiatives also take money, and you have a public company, you need to really show profits and increasing profits all the time. So we have seen this where SEO, the search engine optimized, the organic results are pushed further and further down, and paid ads are taking more real estate. Same is happening with Facebook. You used to have your Facebook business page, for example, and you could publish there. But now, if you try that, like, you're basically getting no love, no views from Facebook if you don't also pay money for them. So that was a big game changer for many who spend a lot of money to get followers, and then it was never really that return on investment that people were hoping for. So now we can look at Google Shopping in terms of okay, this is the ideal future where these advertising platforms want to go towards. And Google has already taken initiatives to automate text ads as well. So they can, right now, for example, go and scrape your site, find out, okay, what are the products that or pages that you could advertise on, then make ads for that. And Shopping, for example, they have no creative. So it's just purely a platform where you compete on price. So you have only a few variables. You have price, you have product description, product picture, and brand. That's it. So that's a very price heavy competition there. So very much an example where an advertiser has a difficulty to win if they are not the cheapest. So bidding, target ROAS, target CPA, increasingly powerful each passing month. And you can go tell Google, Facebook, get me revenue 500% as you can, as much as you can of that. Then Google does it for you. Price is a determining factor in Google Shopping, and there's not much differentiation there. So from those points, we can deduct some facts. So we already know that 80% of the most valuable search traffic for e-commerce stores is bought in a very automated manner. So you have your Google Shoppings, those dominate in Google right now, and soon nobody will be able to buy traffic that much better than the next guy. So that's the big game changer, at least on Google right now. It's very close to that already. So since it's done algorithmically, and will be also more and more algorithmic on Facebook, it's going to be less of a competitive advantage to run that well. And at some point, you will be on a very equal playing field. So you have your different types of searches. Let's say here products, product groups, product categories, and then you have your Google data that is supplying, okay, how high is the search intent, what is the value of this search, and you have the advertisers willing to pay a certain number of ROAS, and then you have that backend already that Google knows, okay, your conversion rate is this is your RPV, revenue per visitor, for this product. So it's very much a solved puzzle from that perspective. And I'm using Google as an example because Google is the future in terms of automation. And Facebook will eventually be very much like Google. You don't have the searches there because it's more of a push. Google is more of, okay, you're already showing intent. But you still have audiences and you have increased behavior triggers and more data every time people use it. And and Facebook is getting smarter from also having more and more data every day. So it is in Facebook's interest as well to minimize all technical setup and all the technical things that go into setting up a Facebook campaign, making it as easy as possible, and having people and companies require almost no expertise to compete at this. So in an ideal world, they would like a perfect market where every advertiser is paying the maximum to buy. So that's what they want. Okay, we have a perfect competition. So let's say an advertiser can afford a 501% ROAS when they're still making 1 cent out of it. Facebook would like you to pay them 500%. That's their ideal cut, so to say. Now, you could make an argument that if it's technically complex, Facebook is actually making more. But again, that's not long-term viable. So even the advertiser needs to make something in the exchange. Otherwise, it's not going to work well. So that is where a situation where, okay, Facebook can, in a way, long-term exploit these merchants. And the merchants will be put on the exact same starting line. And then you have that like only a little bit of leeway in terms of optimization and competitive advantage when it comes to those platforms for driving the click. So yeah, so far we have deducted that paid traffic is becoming both similar and easier. So that's on the paid traffic side. What about the conversion side? So post-click, what can we do there? Where can you still win in terms of post-click? Now, there's a lot of variables here. The most important variables, obviously conversion is important, and your traffic will have a lot to play there, but traffic quality will be increasing the same. So it will be difficult to get much better traffic than the existing stores. So let's say you're starting something new and you already have competition. They're going to get pretty much the same traffic. So less and less to win there, but what you do with that traffic, that's a whole another ballgame. So if you have a store that you can get, let's say, 20% more conversions from that than your competitors, just because you do those tiny details a little bit better, you instantly have a huge advantage there. So if you have a store that, okay, everybody else is paying that 501% and making, or 500% and making 501%, you are paying 500% but making 580%. You have a competitive advantage instantly, and that is something that will go straight into your profitability, because you can basically drive people out of business with this. They cannot compete with your system. So that's definitely one. And okay, we have the perfect competition situation, so you probably cannot go that much compete on price. Let's say even if you're in the US dropshipping or something, you have the MAP policies, so you can't even go lower than your competition. So you'll have that kind of like perfect competition situation there. So that's the conversion rate. What else? Where else can we win? Obviously, the second thing, average order value. And I don't talk about selling your product higher than the competition. That will be more difficult. But okay, how can you increase the average order value? So the initial order would be the same, but there could be cross-sells, upsells to that are really powerful and enable you to, even with the same conversion rate, beat your competition. So let's say your conversion rate is the same and you do cross-sells, upsells that don't hurt the conversion rate. So in this case, it could be post-purchase. So post-purchase, you send a few emails to upgrade the order right away. Another possibility for competitive advantage if your competition is not doing this well. And to be honest, most likely they aren't. So, okay, there's opportunities there. And then obviously you can find a lot of opportunities later on as well. It's a bit with different type of ways to monetize that existing customer. So the customer lifetime value becomes a lot higher. So that's another thing. How can you increase the frequency that you get people to buy second time, third time, fourth time? How can you maybe increase your profitability from JV offers? So let's say joint venture offers. Your store is selling this product, but you have this related offer here somewhere that could also be promoted to this audience list, and then you can take a cut. There's a lot of possibilities here, and most people will never explore or think of these possibilities because they're very stuck on that mentality that like, all right, my initial conversions aren't going this way, and of course that's the first step, but what got you here won't necessarily take you there. So what got you first profitable with your store will not take you to, let's say, 7 figures. So you need to be increasingly thinking of those three: frequency of purchases, frequency of repeat purchases, average order value, and also the basic conversion rate. So many ways to do this, but if you think of it, like, okay, you're getting the same people, so you can always be a better copywriter. You can always be better at the initial conversion, always be better at the email marketing. And that's a case where the progress doesn't stop. You might get it initially pretty good, but then you keep learning with data, similar to how these ad platforms should do. And since you need to be able to pay more per visitor, not because you want to, but because you can drive competition either out of them, or you can keep those initial margins that you have achieved because your back-end business is so strong that you can drive that high volume profitably. So, in any case, if you think of it, the more difficult it is, the more of an advantage there is to be an expert at it. So if you think of some really difficult professions or high-value tasks like copywriting well done is very difficult. It's very high value, high paid. Same with sales. It's actually very difficult to do sales well, and that's why it's also high value. Not many people can do it, and salespeople are getting paid a lot of money for that reason. So the same that applies to people also applies to companies, and especially e-commerce companies. If you're able to do something that most companies or stores cannot do, you are instantly valuable. So you need to be able to differentiate from that perspective, and that is the one thing you have complete control over, is your store and your back-end marketing. So those websites, those variables that go on post-click. So those are the reasons. That's why I think CRO is more important than it has ever been. I'd be curious here. What are your thoughts? And would be very interesting to get a little bit of a discussion going. Do you think paid traffic is still more important than converting visitors into customers, or where should your focus be? And what do you think of these pointers? So yeah, hit me up with the questions, and I'll be happy to answer if you have comments, questions. Make sure to also subscribe. A lot more ranty videos coming up. I like this kind of just spelling my mind to you, and also I have a lot of value to give here. So make sure to subscribe, bell icon, everything, comment, like, and subscribe. See you next time. Cheers.